Well, it's a pleasantly gloomy day here in Jackson Hole after some really bright, warm, sunny weather the last few days. It's kind of quite delightful. But I'm just kind of out exploring. I got some tired legs, so just a nice long recovery run. And before I forget, as always, my shoe choice today is the Arc'teryx Norvan SL. As I mentioned before, I'm testing these out for kind of an all-day mountain shoe, and just wanted to test them on a little bit of mixed terrain today. Took off from the house and hit bike path, hit trail, single track, hit dirt road just up here. Now a little bit of grassy horse trail. So just a little bit of everything for the shoe so I can continue to test it out. But I want to piggyback off of Saturday's video on visualization. We touched on how we can kind of go back and replicate some really good training runs that we've had, or even some epic ultimate PR type of races that we can use as reference to go into the future and visualize our performance that we want to have in the future. But I had a really good question from Sarah from my Strava account, and her question was, well, what if I go back and I look at a race that was really bad? How do I deal with that from a visualization standpoint? And this is a really great question, because we can actually go back and fix that race, so to speak, and using visualization to learn from it, but also change what happened so it changes your mind going forward. You know, in the last video we talked about how our eyesight experiences things in the real world and how our brain deals with that, and visualization and closing our eyes and visualizing something, our brain deals with it no differently than if we're actually doing it or seeing it. And so if we had a bad race, and that's always stays with us and kind of has a bad taste in our mouth, and whether we realize it or not, we're affected by that bad experience, just like we're affected by good experiences. So going back and using visualization to correct or reimagine how that bad race went is very powerful. For example, let's say you're an ultramarathoner and you had a race and you didn't finish. Or maybe you had a marathon and you had a really dialed in race plan and you started out too hard and blew up later in the race and didn't make your time. So for whatever reason it was, you just had a really bad day at that race. Use your visualization practice, go back to that time, close your eyes, go back to that race, and start to visualize that race. See how it happens. Take yourself through that race just as it happened to refresh your mind, but then go back to the beginning of the race and start to create a new story behind it. And I like to tell people, hey, create a movie in your mind of how you want that race to go. So when things start to fall apart, visualize yourself responding in a positive way to maybe help with that situation. If you went out too hard, maybe see yourself in those first few miles dialing it back a little bit and being patient, and then seeing how that helps you later in the race and create that memory in a different way. Again, if it's a marathon and you didn't make your time goal, maybe go back and see yourself finishing and making your goal. If that ultra marathon, hey, it didn't go the way you planned, you DNF'd for whatever reason, go back and visualize maybe you stopped eating for a while, or maybe you started too soon or started too fast. Go back and change what things happened along the way that may have affected that negative experience, so then you can finish the race in your visualization and see yourself finish that race. See yourself get past the DNF. See yourself respond to a negative situation in a positive way to recreate that bad experience into a positive experience. Okay, and so this will do two things. One, it will change how your mind remembers that race. You basically can go back and recreate how you want that race to end up. And so now you have a positive mind for that race. And secondly, you learn from seeing yourself respond in a positive way to a negative experience. Again, our brain sees that as no different as it actually happened. So now you can take that experience into the future race where maybe something happens negatively, and your brain's going to remember how to react because you recreated that past experience in a positive way. So you're recreating something that you want to be able to positively create in the future through your visualization. So that's a wonderful, wonderful exercise, again, as a way to what I call create your success. Create what you want to happen, whether it's in the past to help the future. Okay, so thank you, Sarah. That was a great question. I hope that helps you, Sarah, to maybe answer that a little bit more fully than my text answer in Strava. But also, hey, we've all had those bad races, so now we can go back and recreate in a positive way to help us in the future. Okay, so very powerful, and again, it takes practice. Just no rules around visualization. Just start doing it, or start creating in your mind. Create that movie that you want to see happen in a positive way. Okay, that's all I have for you today. I'm gonna turn around here. This is my turnaround spot, and I'm gonna head home and continue to test out the shoes and continuing to enjoy this nice gloomy cloud cover. And it's quite nice, perfect temperature, so about maybe 45 degrees, and just wonderful. So right next to the water. All right, so again, thanks always for watching, and keep sending your questions. They're super helpful to help me to kind of start creating more of this content that I know a lot of you or people are enjoying because you're telling me, and it's super empowering to hear how much people are enjoying these, because it continues to motivate me to get out and do it. Okay, all right, I'll see you next time. Thanks again.